Have you ever been confused when driving aboard due to the differences between countries? If so, you're not alone. Driving is something that affects 25% of the world's population. But oftentimes, we don't take the time to consider why driving is the way it is. The side of the road that your country drives on isn't just some random guy's brainless fault from before you were born. It's centuries of history, safety tricks, and power plays. Currently, 35% of the world drive on the left versus 65% on the right. Travelers and soldiers kept to the left side of the road so they could easily reach for their sword with their dominant hand to defend themselves if needed. Since most people are right-handed, it made more sense to use the right hand for defense. The other option? Twisting your body and hoping you could still land a hit, which definitely doesn't sound as effective in my opinion. No wonder they did the same as well. Sometime later, a man by the name of Napoleon made a decision to switch to the right side of the road. It was influenced by his desire to break from British traditions, and it also served as a strategic military purpose. Napoleon, being left-handed, preferred to have his sword arm free when encountering potential threats. By moving his army and his people to the right side, he believed that it made it easier for him to fight and stay organized. Napoleon's decision wasn't just limited to France. Countries that Napoleon conquered, such as parts of Europe, also switched to using the right side of the road. But countries that he didn't conquer remained on the left. Like France, Britain also had a strong force during that time. Britain had a tradition of keeping to the left of the road because they fought on horseback. In horseback fighting, they kept their right hand on the sword, which meant that it was easier to defend on the left side. Because of this tradition, countries such as India, Australia, and Japan still drive on the left today. As time rolled on, some countries realized that sticking out of a different driving side was more trouble than it was worth. Take Sweden, for example. In 1967, they made the bold move from left-hand to right-hand driving overnight, in what's now known as Day and Age or H-Day. Why the switch? Pretty simple. Everyone else around them, Norway, Finland, and most of continental Europe, drove on the right. Sticking to the left meant confusing intersections, dangerous border crossings, and cars built for the opposite flow of traffic. Sweden was basically driving in a different video game than its neighbors. In the 1900s, when cars became the norm of traveling, they cared about which side you drove on. For safety and smoother traffic, countries had to pick a side. Automakers began mass-producing cars with specific layouts. Things such as steering wheels and road rules had to match. Some countries chose right-sided driving because the most affordable cars were built that way. Others stuck to the left, especially if that's what they were already used to. So, thanks to industrialization, the side you drive on started depending more on back to the side rather than sword fights or emperors. Switching driving sides today would be like telling everyone to suddenly ride with their knives in hand. It's possible, but total chaos. Entire countries have built roads, signs, intersections based on the system they use, and driving laws have already been established. Flipping it would cost billions, confuse drivers, and likely cause a surge in accidents. Plus, let's be honest, there's not much to gain. People are already used to what they know, and the benefits don't outweigh the cost or risk. Today, this divide still creates confusion, especially in regions where border crossings involve switching driving sides. For instance, in places like the border between India and Nepal, drivers switch lanes when they cross from one country to another. These transitions aren't just a minor inconvenience. They've led to accidents and logistical headaches. It's a perfect example of how history, rather than practicality or logic, continues to shape our daily lives and keeps us on the wrong side of the road, quite literally. If you're into uncovering the strange hidden stories that shapes our world, consider subscribing. Join us on the ride and let's explore more of these wild facts that you never knew you needed.